And today we are talking about geofarming, and some of you have been through my geofarming tutorial presentation, and some of you haven't. And there are new things that you're going to learn today, even if you've already been through it. And then they're going to be, if you've not gone through this, it's going to feel like you're drinking from the fire hose. But as many of the other people that are on here today can tell you, I'm happy to meet with you one-off, and we can figure out some marketing strategies for you and the market that you're trying to market. So typically in an in-person class, I would throw it out there and ask, who is farming right now? Does anybody want to tell me about that? And I'm looking at my other screen so that I can see you guys. So that's why it doesn't look like I'm looking over here. Anybody currently farming? You can raise your hand. You can shake your booty. Okay. And that's okay if you're not. I know that some of you are because you told me that you have. In real estate, geofarming is geographical farming, right? So it's going to be farming in a particular area. And when we're talking about farming specifically, I'm sorry, I don't know if somebody said something.
Hey, yeah, hi Kim. I was able to unmute. I am farming in a couple areas.
How are you doing that, Mona? What exactly are you doing? Are you doing mail outs or?
I'm doing mail outs as well as door knocking.
Okay, awesome.
And I need to. I took your class, but I didn't catch it all. So I'm hoping to learn how to get in there and target the areas like you said before.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to dig in a little bit deeper. And
thank you.
To kind of piggyback off of what Mona is doing when she's talking about farming, is she's door knocking and she's sending out mailers, and she's doing everything that she can to be consistent and be in front of a specific audience. And that is what farming is in real estate, right? So we are cultivating something, we're growing something, and it's from a seed, right? And so if you want something to grow, you have to be consistent. You have to know what you're trying to grow. So in other words, you have to know what your audience is and what they need and what they expect of you. And you need to be able to get in front of them in the right way. And that's kind of what this software does. It allows you to figure out, okay, well, if I'm marketing I'm going to have a neighborhood block party, how am I going to market that? How am I going to get in front of the people that I need to get in front of? What this software does, now we'll tell you, Sunbelt has not Sunbelt, but Anywhere has the exclusive rights. Anywhere is our parent company, and Anywhere has the exclusive rights in the state of Florida to use this. But you can use this software anywhere in the country. So especially, and it would work really well for people who have connections outside of the Florida area and you're trying to bring people here, or vice versa. So just keep that in mind. It's just a nugget of information, which I'll have little nuggets throughout this little presentation, because I have notes written down to make sure I go over everything, but we all know how my brain works. And that's, well, you're going to get a real live presentation of how it works. So anyway, it'll be kind of all over the place. But so for the purposes of what we're doing today, if you are following along, I'd love for you to go to the website that's on the screen, which is the sunbelt.livefarmpro.com. I sent out a cheat sheet. I don't know if everybody got it with the email invite, and if not, I'm going to send it out afterwards. But basically, you're going to go to register once you've gotten to this website. And if you've already registered, then you can just turn up your music and ignore them for a minute. You're going to put in your email address and register just like you would for any online account doing anything else. But when you do the password, instead of coming up with some kind of funky password, it will only let you do letters and numbers. So don't put any special characters in that password. The system access code that you're going to use is what is right here, and it's that SBT 8898. I'm going to put that in the chat so that you guys can see it, because I have a country accent, so it probably doesn't sound like the things that I'm saying. So anyways, so that's the system access code. And once you've done that, you're going to be able to submit again, and you'll have an account that's created. And it is a free account. You're not going to be charged anything. So just keep that in mind. So this software is different from other softwares, and I'm going to tell you why. And unfortunately, Florida is a little bit behind the curve when it comes to geofarming, because in the way that the way title is managed in each state is different. And in California, where the developers are for this particular software, title is managed in a much more stringent way, in which case the title agencies are allowed to do very little for agents, because there is no, I'll do this if you do that. You can't do that in California. The only way that you have name recognition and that you are able to get in front of agents is if you have geofarming software. So this has been around for quite some time, but we are really getting in touch with it here in Florida. And so the advantage to that is that they perfected it. So the information that you're going to be able to get from this software is 73% accurate, and you're going to be able to manipulate the information to do what it is you need to do. So I'm going to log into my account, because obviously I've already created an account. And I guess I would tell you this, the other thing that really sets this software apart, or the thing that sets this software apart, is it's going to provide you a list of, do they only need to register for an account if they are taking this online, or do they need the account even if you are teaching in person? Both. They need it. If you're ever going to use the geofarming, they need to register. Oh, you mean for this class? You don't mean like register for, yes. I'm gonna go with yes. I'm answering the chat. So if anybody thinks that I'm having a stroke in real time, I'm just answering the chat. Okay, so back to what sets this apart, and that is that we pull from about 27 different public record providers, and we compile that data together and we give it to you. You can absolutely 100% get all of this information yourself. And then you can compile it into like an Excel spreadsheet and database, and you can go through each data point and you can see how it would help you in doing your business. In lieu of doing that, we're going to save you thousands of hours of time doing that, and we're going to compile it all together for you. And then we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to show you the people who are most likely that will most likely want to list their home within the next 12 to 24 months. And that's huge, right? Because it takes away some of that guesswork. And you're like, well, how do they do that? Well, they're going to take into a number of factors that they're not actually going to provide the information to you, because then that would be a arrest violation. Yeah.
I don't mean to chop you off, but Tyler says it says invalid access code for him. Have you had anybody have a problem with that access code?
It says invalid access code. And it was SBT 8898. Try with lowercase, maybe.
Yeah, I tried it uppercase and lowercase.
Did you? And you? I don't know, Tyler. Let's look. I can try to create an account for you in just a minute, and
Okay.
we'll do that. Just if you can, just follow along, and then I'll try to figure out what's going on. Yeah, try copy and pasting it. And if that doesn't work, I'll get with you one off right afterwards. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. So squirreled. Okay. So I forgot what I was saying, but I know that it was important. Whenever you log, I'm just going to jump back into this because I lost my train of thought. I'm sure that looks silly to you. Anyway, so whenever you log on to the geofarming website, I think I was telling you that it tells you the people that are most likely to list their house within the next 12 to 24 months is where I was. Yes, that's true. I wasn't lying. Okay, so whenever you log on, you're going to see the same screen that you see right now, which is the profile screen. And it gives you the option to be able to search by an address, a parcel number, an owner, or a trust or LLC. And I'm sure all of you can think of different ways that this could be useful for you. The one way that comes to mind for me is if I am going on a listing appointment and I just want to do a quick search of the property. For example, I'm going to put in of property. I don't know. Somebody give me an address because I don't want to put my address in there. Then you'll know that. Nobody? All right. I'm going to make one up.
You can do mine. 4181 Marcus Court.
Thank you. Okay, so what's going to happen is when you put in an address, it's going to populate at the bottom there, and you're going to have to actually click on it. So what this tool, this specific tool of finding an address, is going to be good for you if you're going on a listing appointment, or if you just want to do some research on a particular property and the surrounding properties. And so I'm just going to click on that, and then what it does is going to tell me who owns the property. For those who don't know, Wanda's last name is actually Nichols, apparently. No, I'm just kidding. It used to be. Okay, so this is Wanda's house. And if I wanted to find a this is called a property profile. I can email it to somebody that I'm going to a listing appointment on, or I can print it out. But let me just show you what that looks like. And it's down here at the bottom of the page. This is not Wanda's house, by the way. This is just a doofloppy house. I mean, it's not a bad house. I'm saying it's just not her house. So it's going to give you the property information. It's also going to give you the property characteristics and the property transfer. So if she ever had a VA loan or an equity line of credit, anything that was associated with a property, that's going to be in this chain of title right here, the title history. And I think it's just really cool to be able to see how the property transferred over time. And at the very bottom of this property profile, hey, Michelle, I just saw you. At the very bottom of this, you're going to have the last 20 properties that sold in the vicinity, in the 5-mile radius of where Wanda owns her house. So this is Wanda's house, this little star. And then the first one in this list, wherever number 1 is over here, that's the most recent one that was sold. It was sold for $225,000 at 169 a square foot. So this can help you with coming up with comps of how to price homes. So that's just another little extra bonus. But I always like to show you that there's nothing that you can click on in here that's going to break it. So I encourage you to get on here and just kind of play with this, because it's going to, once you become familiar with it, you're like, oh, this is really nice. I like it a lot. Okay. So the thing that I think is most beneficial from doing an actual address or search for an owner is that you can do a radius farm. So if I wanted to market, do mail outs or social media, or get email or phone number for a specific area, I am going to do it in a radius of where Wanda lives. So I'm just going to call it Wanda. And I'm going to go out. I know where she lives. I'm going to go about a half mile, and I'm going to keep it to a maximum number of 100 records. You can do it up to 2,000, and you can do up to 5 miles. I'm going to do it 100. And I will tell you that the use code here, whenever you're looking like this, and I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, this is so much information, and there's no way I'm going to remember all this. If you can remember 3 things from today, I'll tell you what those 3 things are. 1, I'm amazing. 2, I sing really great. And 3, this actually works if you spend the time doing it, but you just have to invest the time into doing that. So if the only thing you remember today is the website name, that's all you need. So the use code, if it includes all, that's going to include commercial properties and vacant land. I don't care about that. I'm not marketing to them right now. I just want to do the SFRs, which is the single family residences. And I'm going to agree to the data, and then I'm going to create the farm. And immediately what's going to happen, it's going to send it over to the farm manager over here on the left. And that's really cool, because I bet one of you can guess what happens at the farm manager. You manage your farm. That's what happens. And the crowd went wild because she's so funny. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so my farm manager is going to look a lot different than yours, right? Because I have a lot of farms. And this is all from like different presentations I've done. But you can see here at the top is where Wanda's farm populated. So again, just to recap, I went to profiles, I put in an address, I did a radius farm, and then it created, and it went into the farm manager. I'm going to show you two other ways that you can create a farm. I'm not going to go through and create them. I'm just going to show you how you can do that. And then I'm going to show you where it gets really good. And that's going to be the data that you can use within these farms, how you can use it. And then I'm going to take it a step further and show you how you can use this on social media, which is my favorite part ever. So if there's two other ways to create farms. One is a subdivision search and the other is a polygon. And a lot of us are within PAR. And so you probably use the polygon search that's on the PAR website, in which case you're going to be very familiar. It's just basically a drawing tool and it creates a farm wherever you draw. The subdivision tool, I'm going to show you what this looks like so you don't think that you're going to break anything whenever you look at it. I'm going to do a search for Navarre, just randomly. And what's going to happen is it's going to show up all these different like little shapes. When I click on the little colors, which this is again why I'm showing you, it doesn't matter what the color is. It's just showing you that it's a different subdivision. It's going to automatically calculate what's in that particular subdivision. There's 58 single family residences with a turnover rate of 3.45% on this particular farm. This is a map view, and if you are geographically delusioned like I am, you may prefer the list view, which is up here. And it's so weird, Paige. I can see you on one screen, and I guess you're hearing on another. I don't know what's happening, but I see you. I see you, girl. I see you right there. I see you, Paige. Okay. Anyway, so if you want to do the list view, to me, this is better because I can see the numbers and not necessarily where they are on the map, because this is what matters to me. I'm going to ask you a question, and I hope that somebody will put it in the chat. I certainly will, James. I will put this on the YouTube. However, okay, there are two places that you're always going to want to farm. What's the first place you are always going to want to farm no matter what? Anybody? Somebody's doing it right now.
The neighborhood in which you live?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And your sphere, right? So your friends and your family. And the reason you want to even market to them, I'm going to tell you. And if you guys know Nicole and Mike Bodie, then you can go punch them in the face, because that's my stepbrother and my sister-in-law. And I found out he bought a house in Nature Trails a couple years ago on Facebook. I'm like, Mike, who did you close with? Why would you close with someone else? And he said, I didn't really know what you did. That's my fault. That's not his fault, right? That's not, I mean, he would have closed with me because, I mean, we're amazing. So it's my fault. So if you're not marketing to people, and even in your own family, if they don't know what you're capable of doing, even if there's somebody else in another state, they don't know that you have a referral network, they don't know what you can do, then it's on you if they don't use you, unless you're just super annoying, in which case that also may have been what you didn't use me. I don't know. But anyway, so I think that is the number one place. And as you create a farm for your own neighborhood, you can even incorporate your own sphere. So your family and friends. So if you're going to market out like your successes or your open houses or something like that, you can include those people in that marketing strategy. And we can do that in a one-off, and I can show you how to do that. But I strongly encourage you to make sure that if you market to no one and you do nothing else, that you, no matter what the turnover rate is, which that cushy little rate that we're looking for is 8%. But if your neighborhood is 0%, doesn't matter. You market to them. You market to them until your eyes bleed, because that is where eventually, and this is horrible, eventually somebody's going to die or get a divorce or get married, and they're going to need you. And so you're going to be the one that has been consistent and been there the entire time. Okay, So moving on, the second place is going to be where you've seen success or where you've had success, right? So, and I tell you that because you can see that the turnover rate here is 12% in Alpine Beach. This might be a place that I want to market. It may not necessarily have been my success. And I don't have to tell people that I sold those houses. You can say, hey, houses are selling in your neighborhood, and I want to help you with that process. So, those are really the main two places that you want to make sure that you are marketing to, are farming. I'm going to go back to my farm manager because now you know, and it says it on the cheat sheet that I'm going to send out. Actually, I think I can put it in here. I'll do that in just a minute. You know how to create a farm. Now, what's in the farm and how do you use it? That's what we're going to get into right this second. And I think you're going to find that it's super cool. So I'm going to go into Wanda's farm. Thank you, Wanda, for letting me use your address. And I'm going to show you the information that you get right off the bat. This is all free information because it's all public information. You're going to get the owner's name. You're going to get the site address, which is the property address. You're going to get the city and state, obviously, and then you're going to get the sale price. And you're thinking, wait a minute, these people got a house for free. That ain't right. Well, you're right. And however, this sale price may reflect several things: probate, warranty deed, anything that would offset what the actual value is of the house. Like this one is $19,500. Surely they're not paying $19,000 unless they've had it for, 50 years or 30 years. Look at that. So that's also another piece of data that is used here, is that it tells you how long the people have stayed in the house. It will also tell you, and so I said that that these prices may look off sometimes because this is what's actually been recorded. It's not because the sale price is incorrect. It's just what's been recorded. Now it tells you how many beds and baths it has, what the use code is, how much square footage, if there's more than one stories, when the last sale date was, and the mailing address. This is a huge one because you're able to identify by filtering out stuff, and I'll show you the filters in just a minute. You're able to identify who is living in their home and who is out of state or getting their mail somewhere else, which is great if you're trying to market in a specific way to a specific audience. It tells you, again, if it's occupied or not, the year that it was built. Sometimes it will have the assessed value in there and sometimes it doesn't, but it typically does have the appreciation value in there. It's a guesstimate, obviously. And then the number of years that they've been in the property. So it tells you all this information and you're like, great, that's great. I can get most of that anywhere else, but how am I going to use this? Well, my favorite thing to do is up here. There's like a whole bunch of filters. The best one, and obviously I told you, you can filter by absentee or occupied or out of state. Hot movers is the one that we're going to focus on. And it logged me out. Hold on. I don't know why it logged me out. It doesn't like me right this second. If anybody's following along, of course that page is not active is what it says. Okay. If anybody's following along, the hot movers, well, I hope you're all following along because that's why you're here. Anyway, the hot movers is going to be the people that are most likely to sell their home or list their home within the next 12 to 24 months. So of all the people in this farm in Wanda's neighborhood, and sometimes there's no hot movers. Sometimes there's just not anybody that they suspect or that fits the algorithm to list their home. However, as of right now, I haven't had a farm that hasn't had any hot movers in a while. Because the market is picking back up. So that being said, of all of the 100 people in Wanda's farm, these 7 people are the people that I'm going to market the hardest to. I'm going to, if I know their phone number, if I know them as a neighbor, I'm going to go cut their grass. I'm going to make sure that they know I'm a realtor. I am going to show up. Look at this person. Their last name is Kimbrough. I would want to know them just because my nickname was Kimbo growing up, and I want to know, I just want to get to know them. Anyway, so these are the people. This is where the bread and butter of the entire software is, the hot movers. So that being said, I want to show you two other things. The first thing is I'm going to go back to the complete farm. I'm going to show you how to share. Now, depending on what CRM you use, if you use a CRM, Coldwell Banker uses Moxie, Keller Williams uses Command. I think some Levin Rinke uses, is it Boomtown? I don't remember. Okay, Boomtown. Thank you, Nicole. And I know Coldwell Banker also uses Express Docs, and so and that's like for mail outs and stuff like that. So let me just tell you how you can, the reason that this is beneficial for you, because if you download this as just a comma separated values, which you can, you're going to have to map it out before you put it into your CRM, and that is just, it's just cumbersome. Why would you want to do that if you don't have to? The benefit of downloading it as already a comma separated value file that is in the format of your CRM is that you are able to just upload it and it will go right into your contacts there. Now, I'm not familiar with all of these CRMs, so if you ask me how to do it, I'll figure it out with you, but it may break it on that end. I don't know. Okay, so that is obviously a really cool benefit. You're able to export this data and include it if you're going to do mail outs or whatever the case might be. But also, if you do anything, any other like third party, like Breakthrough Broker, and if you haven't heard of Breakthrough Broker, I'm not a salesperson for them, but I will tell you it's a really awesome program and it's free for you. And you don't pay anything unless you actually mail something out from there. Most of your brokerages, though, have some type of resource for you to create flyers, and they are very professional looking. So it may not be something that you even need to like invest in, and not say invest because your time is an investment, because you may have something to already save you time. But if you don't, check out Breakthrough Broker. Of these, I think it's the most beneficial, and you can import all of that into there as well. Now, there's one other thing that I want to show you here before I start showing you the social media. If you're one of those, I know Bill Martin, he creates, I say Bill, you may not all know Bill, but he usually is on here. He creates his own postcards. He has them printed. He uses Canva. They come to his house, and then he puts shipping, or he puts labels on them. There is a way up here under the share icon, you can actually print labels, and it's a Avery 5160 label. So you just go buy the labels at Office Depot, and you're able to like pop them on any collateral that you might have if you're doing a mail out. But we're going to go back and I'm going to show you the cool part of the whole software. Okay, so you have this farm and you're like, I don't want to spend the money on sending out a postcard to all these people because quite frankly, I've been doing it for months and nobody's called me, or whatever the case might be. Or maybe they have and you want to keep doing that. But maybe you want to take it a step further and you want to incorporate social media. And if you're like me, if you know me, we're probably friends on Facebook, and you probably know I'm not scared of social media. But one thing I have never done is bought an ad on social media because it scares me to death. Like, well, for one, like, what am I going to be selling? I don't think anybody's going to want me to do a title insurance sponsored ad, but it does kind of scare me to think that's going to be out there in front of people that I don't know. So I say that this takes away some of that uneasiness and the anxiety of doing the social media component all on your own. If I go and I want to, and here's another thing, if you go through this software to do your social media advertising and marketing, it's completely different if you do it on Facebook or Instagram. Because if you go Facebook, Instagram route, it's the same price. But if you go that route and you've created your own ads, several things. One, it's going to go through what you call it. My brain just fried. Review. Thank you. I just told myself and then just told myself, thank you. That's rude. Anyway, so it's going to go through a review that could take up to 10 days. That's unheard of, right? Because if you're trying to advertise an open house that's in 6 days from now, if it's still under review because you created the ad yourself, that's not going to help you a whole lot. All right, so that's one thing. And the other thing is when you go through actual social media, their platform, it goes to a zip code, our city, or a town, and it goes to all 25,000 people. But if you go through here and you go through this farm, it's going to market to this 100 people for the length of time that you tell it to market to, and just these people. It's not going to go to that whole zip code unless you tell it to. So I'm going to show you, and then here's another really cool part. I went to the share icon, I went down to Facebook, Instagram, and then place Facebook ad. I just found food in my teeth, so I'm glad you can't see me. Oh, wait. So there's some already like generic templates on here. And you can choose to use these, or you can choose not to use, like it's your, however you want to do it, but you can make this your own is what I'm saying. I'm going to go to this one because today is National Pet Day, and it's the ad is for what's your home worth. So if I want to market to, considering what, because again, you have to know who your audience is and what it is, what's the message that you're trying to deliver. In this particular case, I want to go to the decision maker, right? Because I'm asking them, do you want to know what your home's worth? If I'm asking them that, I'm not going to try to send it to the renter because they don't really care. They're just storing the house anyway. So we want to go to the mailing address. Jonathan Clark is requesting to record this meeting. Sure, Jonathan. I'm going to go to the mailing address because that's going to be the decision maker. So my social media ad is going to go to the person that may own the house in Navarre, but they live in Kentucky. So that's, I want you to get your head around that, because if I'm doing Facebook ad and I do it for a zip code, I'm not getting to the actual homeowner, right? So this is some verbiage in here. You can change the verbiage if you want to, or you can leave it the way it is. I say leave it the way it is. This is already proven it's not going to go through a long, rigorous review process. You can actually change the image to be like a carousel of multiple images where you can. So if you're doing what's your home worth and you're marketing to Wanda's neighborhood and you wanted to take some pictures of like houses in Wanda's neighborhood, I got you, Ken, don't worry. If you want to do the carousel, if you're marketing to see, for people to ask, what's your home worth? How cool would it be if your house showed up on an ad and my house showed up on an ad and I live in Kentucky and my house in Pace is showing up on an ad? How cool is that, right? Now, I may not think it's cool if, my house is kind of trashy or something, but anyway, so I think that's just brilliant. But you can do multiple images, or you can even do a video. Dallas is on here. He does videos all the time. He could do a video for you even. Okay, so you could you could say, hey, I'm doing an open, because you can do one for open house. Hey, I'm doing an open house. I would love for you to come see it. Or for this particular case, when you're trying to say, hey, what's your home worth? You could take a video going down the road of that neighborhood that Wanda lives in, or where you live. And I think that would be cool. This is so awesome that that somebody has spent the time to market this directly to me. And James, you asked, do the mailings go to the specific addresses or the registered address of the homeowner? It's whichever one you choose. So you can actually, going back to the labels is what I think you were asking about. You can choose to go to have the actual owner's name on it and the site address, owner's name, property, the mailing address, just to say current resident. You can have all those choices are there. If I don't want, I'm just going to leave this as an image right here, and I'm going to click here, and I am going to, I want to change this. I want it to have my phone number on the ad. I've created one in Canva. I haven't really done that. I'm going to look for something that I can share with everyone. I don't know that I can. We'll just pretend. Okay, pretend like this is an ad for I mean, it's not really an ad, but pretend like it's an ad. Then I want people to come to my open house or whatever this is. Just pretend this. You can just see how I changed the image. You see, there we go. All right, so this is the really cool part. I keep saying that, but I want you to see where this URL takes you. Now you can replace this with your own website if you have a website that's your own and you want people to be directed to that. But statistically, how it works is if people don't feel like they're being committed, and I can say this, my dad, he was a used car salesman. I can tell you 100% people do not want to be car salesmen, right? They don't want to be whatever the verb is that when a used car salesman comes after you, they don't want that. And that's how people feel like when they are registering with a specific person. They feel like they're tied to them forever. Like I want this information. I want it to be free, but I don't want to have to do anything for it. So if you make it more generic, then they're more likely to actually click on it. So I'm going to show you where this URL takes you. And I think this is so cool because you're going through your own geofarming login and you've created a Facebook or Instagram ad. It shouldn't normally take this long. I really don't know why it is. Oh, okay, here it goes. It says whatsahomeworth.com. This is a real website and they will really put in their property address and they may be in Kentucky or they may be in California. It doesn't matter. If this ad's in front of them and they click on it to know what the access code will be when I'm registering, I will tell you it's right here. So, and I'm going to give you a cheat sheet too, Tiati, so you'll have that as well. So you can kind of, this will be on the Facebook group as well. So you'll be able to see that. When they click submit, this information goes to you. It doesn't go to like one of the random people that are using geofarming. It goes directly to you. And if they click on the live support that's there is going to encourage communication with you. So I think this is a really awesome tool. And each one of these ads that are over here take you to a different website that's a real website for you to garner information in a more organic way. Obviously, it's not organic. We're using Facebook and Instagram. However, it is better than buying this information, I feel like. They're giving it to you. So I'm going back into that ad, and I just wanted to show you, you can look at a preview of what it would look like on Instagram or on Facebook. And down here is where you're able to decide how many days you're going to put it on the market and what day you're going to want to start it. So if you change the content in any way, you're going to probably want to start it out a few days from today so that it has time to go through that review process. And then you can also choose your audience again. So right now we just have it on Wanda's, the URL for the What's a Home Worth. So whenever Sarah, that's a great question. So it's part of this software. So whenever they click on that ad, you want to see what your home's worth, and they click on that Facebook or Instagram ad, it takes them here. And I got the URL from the actual, I'll go back. It's down here where destination URL. I was just showing you what they actually see when they click on it. And that's free for you. So it's just, the information comes directly to you. The only thing you're paying for is the actual Facebook ad. Back over here where I was going to choose the audience, if I wanted to change things up and I wanted to just put in a city or a zip code, I can do it that way as well. So don't think just because, you created a farm that you can't do it that way. One of the things that we did, I worked with someone last week and they said, well, how do I combine, if I want to do marketing to all of my previous clients, That was one issue, and the other, or not issue, that was one question. The other question was, well, how do I do it if I want to send the same ad, but to 3 different farms? Well, we created one farm with those 3 farms combined, and then we imported the CRM. So there's lots of different ways that you can manipulate this to get in front of a specific audience that you want to get in front of. And are you recording? Yes, I am, Nicole. And I will put it on my YouTube, and I will put it in our Facebook group as well. I will tell you that I know this is like, again, drinking from the fire hose, and it can be very overwhelming. I do encourage you to take a look at this. We had the first time that I did this presentation, if Kathy Short's still on here, she remembers, I tripped over my tongue so many times and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I will tell you that even from the first 2 times doing the presentation, not because of me, but because the information, because they took away a nugget from the class. I had people texting me, I got 2 listings from that hot movers list. What? For real, it worked? Like it really does work. And we've had people, because Sunbelt obviously is across the state. We have people that are in Miami that are working with people in New York who are moving down to Florida. And it's just the way they're able to do the referrals back and forth now is just incredible. And there's a lot of different moving parts to that and components that I'd love to sit down and talk to you a little bit more about it. But I've been talking a lot, and I want to tell you one more tidbit of information, and then I want to open it up to any questions that you guys might have. So the first is, I challenge you to spend, I saw this on TikTok, so it's gotta be true. I encourage you to spend 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 18 minutes a day doing something that's going to make you better in whatever discipline you're trying to be really good at. A lot of people, after they see this, they say, okay, this isn't for me. I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at sitting down and looking at data. You don't have to do it nonstop for hours on end. Do it for 18, 20 minutes. If you do that, that's 100 hours a year. And statistically, if you spend 100 hours doing anything, you're going to be better at that one discipline than 95% of the entire world. So that's huge. And if you spend 18 to 20 minutes on just focusing in on not just geofarming, but like making yourself better at whatever it is, whatever discipline you want to be really good at, you could be the best. So say that, and now I'm going to open it up for questions. What questions do you have for me? That's a great question, Tiati. 8% is a really good rate. As you can see, like I did a farm earlier today, and it came back with a 21% rate. And her name is Jody, and I was showing it on the screen, and she was like, "Don't let anybody else see it." So, but 8% is a really, really good rate, unless it's your own neighborhood, and that turnover rate could be 0. It wouldn't matter because you still need to be marketing to those people. Can you pull phone numbers from the software? Yes, Ben, you can. However, one second. You can pull phone numbers. It does cost. I can't even add any actual money to my own account because I'm monitored by RESPA. And that would be like me providing you leads, even if it's just on my screen. I hope the developers never see this, but I don't know that it's worth it. I mean, you pay 6 cents for a phone number, or I tried to pull up my neighborhood and nothing popped up. Okay, I'll look at it in just a second, Tiati. And it may be that we have to do a search for you as an owner. That's why I have to do mine, because I live in a really rural area. Ben, back to your question about the phone numbers and emails, or just phone numbers in general. They're 6 cents a piece. And you can get that information and you can do with it what you will. But I kind of feel like if you don't have to pay for it, why pay for it? Because if you're going to be able to get in front of people with doing social media, and I can show you my phone right here. I'll show you this to you. This is my personal email. I don't know if you can see how many You can't see it. I have it drives Aaron crazy. I have 623 personal emails that haven't been read. And that's just like from the last few, like maybe the last few days, because Aaron can tell you I had 4,000 something last week and was really proud that I cleaned it out. But I don't read those marketing ads. I'm not saying it's not worth using, because it is. You need to be consistent. You need to be doing that. But if we're talking about farming, it's the Miracle-Gro, right? It's not the water. You have to have the water. And so I would say that would be an extra component. So again, going back to your question, yes, you can, and you can pay for it, but use it use the free version if you can. That's just my 2 cents. Okay. Ciati, I'll try to pull up yours. I've been creating farms by subdivisions. If you use the hot list, can you then go to reverses and get the numbers and emails? That's a great question. You can't. So part of our footprint has eCar, and they have the forewarn. And I think you're able to get phone numbers, or it might be the other way around. But you're talking about, yes. So how that works is, yes, you do go down to the bottom when you're on the hot movers, and you go to the bottom, it says actions at the bottom. So I'm going to go in here. And then I'm going to go to the hot movers. And then down here where it says actions, get emails and phone numbers. That's how you would actually do that. And if you go to reverses, that's if you've already purchased the phone numbers or the emails. And I think of reverses as like, remember star 69, like I want to figure out who called me. That's how I think of reverses. So, but if you want, and it even allows you to get what's associated with either the site address or the mailing address. So that's, I hope that answered your question, Sandy. And I'm going to search for your address, Ciati. It's not going to net any different results than what you did, probably, because I'm sure you know what your address is. But are you the owner? If you're still there, are you the owner? Because that's how I have to search for mine, is I have to search by owner name, because I live in a more rural area. No, okay, so you're a renter, and it might be of several reasons. It could be that the person has, if they are in law enforcement, they may not be on there, but usually they are. If you know the owner's name, we can do a search by the owner's name. This is where that 73% accuracy comes in, because there's always going to be like a quirk of it somewhere. So I'll show you. This is mine right here, and it does the same thing. And I do exist. Oh, just kidding. That's not my first name. And it does the same exact thing. But what we can do is I can actually see, it doesn't show up anything, but I'm a real person and I'm really here. We can email the developers and make sure that they add that address in and the surrounding areas, which they probably, if the data is there, it just is going to come up in a different way. Does anybody else have any questions? I know it's a lot of information. Can anyone, for a chance to win $25, can you do hot mover step 1 more time? Sure can. While I'm doing that, for a chance to win $25, the first person to put this in the chat correctly, how much of your marketing that you do each year should be about you as a realtor? What percentage? Sarah, you're right. It should be 30%. That other 70% should be a value add. And I'd love to meet with you in a one-off to talk to you about value adds and how you can really show your community involvement and just really add value to someone else's life. And I'll tell you what, Brian, I don't know if you're actually on here and listening, but all I see is your big old smile every time I look up, and it makes me smile. So I just wanted you to know, thank you. I appreciate that. That is wonderful. Okay, so Tiara, you wanted to know how to get back to the hot movers when you're in a farm. So you've already created a farm and you actually click in the farm. When you click in the farm there and you go over here to the top right, you're going to go down to hot movers and create the filter that way. Thank you, sir. All right. So, if there's no other questions right now, feel free to email me in a one-off. And of course, I'm going to send you those cheat sheets as well. But does anybody have any upcoming listings or any listings that you want to see, other people to see in the other footprints? So right now we have people from PAR, ECAR, and CPAR on here, and not everybody in NABAR, and not everybody can see everything from everybody else. So yes, thank you, Aaron. So if you have any listings that you'd like somebody to take a look at, just say, hey, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, and you can put that address in there because I'm sure that they would like to see that.
Kimberly, it's Dallas. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Question, when we're doing the ads, you know how it populates, you do it as a Facebook ad?
Yes.
Does it show up as on your ad manager within your account since you're doing it kind of from a third party?
That's a really great question.
Okay, period. I found us a room. Gate.
Kathy, go on mute. Just kidding, I'll mute you. I don't know. I'll have to find that out because I would think that it goes on there, but okay. You can see what the views are, but you have to go through the geo farming site to be able to do that. I don't know that it would show up on that ad manager within Facebook, if that's specifically what you're asking.
Yeah, that's exactly. And it's not a big deal, I guess, as long as you can track it somewhere. And lastly, there are standards within Facebook ads that only allow for a certain percentage of the image to have text. Does it run through the protocol and the algorithm? Does it weed it out if you use too much text in the image? Will it reject it?
Well, not initially, no. So if you change it out and you put in like a whole bunch of words and like the image is just a whole bunch of words, it will go through a review. Any changes that you make to it are going to go through a review. The easiest thing to do is to put it in exactly the way it is. However, I wouldn't do that. I'm going to change the image so it's at least, the house that I'm doing an open house for, or, and it has like my name at the bottom and maybe my phone number or something like that. But as long as you are meeting the standards for Facebook and Instagram, which he's right, like that's going to send it through a messy review that can take up to 10 days. But if you don't put all of that, sorry, I just saw the chat. If you don't make a lot of changes, then it won't be a rigorous review process. So I don't know if I answered your question. It's not going to stop it initially. So we'll still have to go through that review process.
Right. I think the general rule of thumb is 40 to 45% text is the maximum. Try to adhere to that if possible.
That's good information. That's not something that I usually go over, and I need to. I'm actually going to make a note of that so that I can start talking about that, because I can imagine that would be very useful information for people as they're creating ads. And I think the Facebook and Instagram component of the software, it really does take out that, oh my gosh, what if I mess this up? I think it just, and another part of that is like, it's not necessarily all about you. And one of the ways that the ads show up is it shows up as a marketplace ad and not like you. And I think I told you, statistically, people are more likely to click on it if they don't feel like they're, being sold something. So, I will tell you next week, we have a really, really cool Talk About It Tuesday. I'm super stoked about it. We have, it's actually going to be at 11 a.m. because I'm part of the Young Professionals Network. I don't know why they would have me as Young Professionals anyway. I'm part of the network and the committee that's putting on a panel of top producers at PAR, and that's actually at 2:00 next Tuesday. So I would love for you guys to register for that. And instead of doing this at 2:00, we're going to do this at 11 a.m. next week. And we're going to have a panel of, and you're going to laugh because only I would do this. All the things that we wish that we could say to realtors, but don't because we're so polite. So what your business partners really want you to know when you're working with them. And some of the people have sent me examples. So we have Jerry Miles with Florida Insurance, Daniel Money with KJM, and Mike Bristad with DRA. And then, of course, Erin Vaughn with Sunbelt and me, just so I can keep her in check. And we're just going to talking about like the things that you need to know as you're working with those people and the things that you might not know even as a seasoned agent. So I think it's going to be really good and funny. So I hope to see you here. It'll be 11 o'clock next week and you'll get a calendar invite for that. And thank you guys for putting the listings in here. I think that the chat shows up if you watch the recording. I'm not positive, but I will. I'm putting it on the screen so that it can be shared. So I will send out the recording soon. If anybody has any other questions, Sarah, I'm going to get you your $25 gift card. Thanks, Joey. You guys let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to meet with you one-on-one or 5-on-1 or 2-on-1 or whatever. But you guys have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon and go get some listings. Bye, guys.